quick guide on checking your bearings, and if you find you need to change your bearings on your Giant frame, how to change them using these tools. To check them, all you have to do is rotate the bearing in the housing. You want to strip the frame down, get into the bearings individually, and just rotate them. Once you rotate them and make sure that the bearings are nice and smooth, you then want to pinch the inner race of the bearing and just see if you can move it, see if there's any play there. This is nice and tight, so it's fine. Same with the other one. You would rotate it and you would see if you can feel any play in this inner race. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bearings out of here. I'm going to clamp the frame into this vise, but I'm going to use these soft jaws that I've added in here. I think I'll do this bearing first. I'll clamp it at this part. Now be careful when you're clamping it, because obviously you don't want to damage it. The thing about this pivot here is that because of the odd shape of the housing, you can't get a socket set, and you can't really get something that's flat onto there. If you try, you'll end up with that misalignment, and when you try and press the bearing out, it will just rotate and bind in the housing. So what you'll need is a tool that is specific to the shape of the frame. These tools have been cut to match the frames, so that very close fit. The reason I've used these aluminium tubes, they're soft aluminium tubes. They do burn out, they don't last all that long. You'll go through them over a certain period of time. But if any damage occurs, it will occur to this soft alloy long before it occurs to your paint or to your frame. On top of that, the really innovative thing about using the soft alloy, one of the points is that it will absorb the damage and it will wear out, it will burn out rather than damaging the frame. On top of that, these can very easily be cut to the shape of a frame. You could use a hacksaw to cut this to the shape of a frame. You could use this benchmark grinder. If you wanted to do that with a socket set, you'd have a lot of problems. But with this very simple design, you can cut it to whatever shape you want. So, quick demonstration. This goes on there like that. Fits into there. This goes at the back here. And we add in this. And all we need to do at this point is get two 13mm spanners and just rotate that round. And that's basically how easy it is to get the bearings on this frame. Exact same thing for this larger bearing. Very similar tool. This tool's flat because the housing's flat, so we don't have to have a tool that fits exactly to the frame. Fit this onto here, come to the back. Now this, because of this lip, sits inside the bearing like that. May not be a bad idea to put that into place first so you see where it needs to be, then attach that. Keep the pressure on here, keep the pressure on this bit so that it doesn't come loose and sit anywhere else. We want to have that aligned so we can have a nice smooth removal of the bearing. Get it back into place and tighten this up. Basically that. Very simple. but very effective. That's how you remove the bearings from the frames.